back to the Sustainable Design Lab podcast. I'm Brodie, Vander, Dussen.
And I'm Chris Bradley.
And today we're doing something a little different. For the last few years, the team at the Sustainable Design Lab have compiled a trends report. This report is based on hundreds of suppliers that we're evaluating, fellow award winners, prototypes we're building, regulations we're tracking, design challenges we're helping solve. It's a lot of different input. And for the first time ever, we're really excited to announce that we're making the report publicly available.
And 2026 is a major turning point. US EPR laws are going live, PFAS bans are expanding, and global policy, especially the European Union's PPWR, is really reshaping packaging expectations here in North America. And the conversation is really shifting. This is the year that packaging moves from aspiration to execution.
So while you can get the full report in the episode description or on our website, today we're going to walk through the report on the biggest trends that are shaping 2026, what they mean, what's driving them, and how brands can start preparing now. So let's get into it.
All right, so we got the top 10 trends of 2026. And before we dive in, let's do a quick look back. So if you saw our 2025 trends, you'll recognize trends like plastic-free formats, paperization, the rise of regenerative materials, and the paper tube revolution. These didn't just show up in 2025, they actually exploded or accelerated. And paperization and seaweed-based materials in particular really grew significantly across the marketplace.
Definitely. 2026 is the year that all, the early signals are becoming more mainstream design decisions. A lot of that is driven by the US EPR programs and the PPWR, like you mentioned. But the EPR in US is entering active phases. Brands are now being asked to make recyclability, material efficiency, and truthful labeling core to design, not just an add-on, essentially. Material bans like PFAS, high PCR demand, and increasing scrutiny on greenwashing are also really driving these more science-based decisions.
And globally, the EU's PPWR is pushing everyone towards higher performance with lower environmental impact. And that upstream pressure is really shaping design strategy, not only for the big multinational brands, but for forward-thinking US brands as well.
So with that context, let's walk through the 2026 trends.
Okay, without any further ado, here are our top 2026 trends. Trend number 1 is fiber frenzy. Now, this trend has been around before. We called it paperization last year, but if it was paperization, it has gone on fire. We are seeing day in and day out lots of new packaging formats that are emerging where fiber is the hero. And it's really kind of driving, I think, the whole industry right now.
Yeah.
We're seeing fiber do things that it could never do just a few years ago.
Yeah. And I think a lot of things that are driving that are EPR programs in general. Paper is at a much lower fee schedule than its plastic friends and alternatives. And so you're seeing that across every aisle in the grocery store, everywhere you're looking when it comes to packaging, that paper is becoming the main material in sometimes traditionally plastic formats.
And trend number 2 is one of our new favorites. It is natural polymers.
These are renewable bio-based polymers derived from proteins, polysaccharides, seaweed, the kinds of materials that offer plastic-like functionality without toxicity or microplastic concerns.
And what's driving this is really clear. It's PFAS bans, FDA phase-outs, retailer safety requirements, this whole concern around microplastics. And it's really also corporate commitments to really going after biological alternatives. And this is becoming required innovation in 2026, no longer just a niche.
So shout out to our friends at NOPLA for being a driving force within this trend with their pure seaweed films and coatings. There are a bunch of other innovators out there that are doing incredible work, exploring natural polymer systems using renewable, non-toxic, and rapidly regenerating feedstocks. Many of these solutions are rooted in seaweed, agricultural byproducts, and other bio-based inputs, and are engineered to deliver plastic-like performance while mostly being compostable or biodegradable in a wide range of environments. Collectively, these approaches demonstrate how nature-derived materials can scale into functional packaging without relying on fossil-based materials.
And, I guess what I would say about this natural polymers, I think it is one of the most exciting. And I think you're going to see a lot of advancements and innovations in the next couple years coming out of this whole new spectrum where people are really trying to stay pure to what is available in nature. And that means that it's actually going to biodegrade at the end of life.
Totally agree. Which actually brings us to our third trend called the new barrier frontier.
Now, if these nature engineered or these natural polymers are the building blocks, the new barrier frontier is all about the specialty coatings that are going to make these fiber systems functional. Now, it could be a natural polymer coating. It could be any other type of dispersion coating or other types of barriers that can replace plastics and PFAS for grease, moisture, and heat performance.
This trend is really driven by, PFAS bans, retailer restrictions. These bio-based and sometimes mineral-based coatings unlock applications for molded fiber and paper that simply weren't possible before.
Now, again, you might see this in grease-resistant food wraps, PFAS-free molded fiber meal trays, hot and cold beverage cups, yes, even hot cups now, bakery papers, quick service takeout containers, frozen food cartons, thermoform and fiber lids, a whole range of products that you previously had plastic linings in them. And this will lead us now to trend number 4, which we're calling from waste to worth.
So this is really circularity in action. It's taking agricultural byproducts and industrial scrap and turning them into premium packaging materials.
Now, we're seeing this in the upcycling of biomass, making things like algae ink. Big shout out to them, doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Paper made from grass and fallen leaves. Yes, they're collecting yard trimmings and making materials and packaging out of it. Textiles given a second life as molded structures. And these kinds of materials really deliver circularity benefits. They support waste reduction goals, and they give brands a unique sustainability story, all while helping to reduce the reliance on virgin materials.
Which brings us to trend number 5 called Honey, I Shrunk the Packaging. This trend is all about structural integrity and efficiency, making things smaller, lighter, and tighter packaging that reduces the empty space.
Now, this is really being driven by Europe's right-size packaging laws or the 50% empty space rule. So EPR modulation, freight and material savings. So think about this as ultra slim detergent pouches, right size boxes, thin wall containers, all of these types of containers where we used to get this, excess of packaging are really being forced to kind of come down to the right size. We're seeing this in box on demand companies like Pack Size, who are even now able to create inline box on demand solutions with full digital printing. So things that were just seemed impossible a few years ago are now mainstream in 2026.
Which brings us to trend number 6, which is one of my favorites, cross-category mimicry.
Now, cross-category mimicry is one of my favorites too. It's where brands are really borrowing structures from unexpected categories to stand out. Think shampoo and motor oil containers. Yeah. Or what else are you seeing?
I'm seeing like cigarette style beauty cartons, tampons and ice cream pints, gift sets out of paint cans. It's not quite like reinventing the wheel, but it does feel new and innovative regardless.
And I've even seen potato chips that you can spend $50 on for a can of potato chips that are in a gallon paint can at one of my local butcher shops, which with the first time I saw it, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
But it caught your eye, didn't it?
It did.
Which brings us to number 7, refillable by design. This is an evolution on the refill and reuse culture that we've seen. You'll see durable and often aesthetic outer vessels paired with minimal refill cartridges designed into the system from day one.
So beauty, personal care, home care, household essentials are really the leaders here, but it's spreading fast. So we're seeing aluminum pods, reusable soap cartridges, concentrated refill tablets, lightweight spouted pouches, and snap-in skincare, beauty, and hair care refill pods. There's just so much exploding in this space, and it's all designed to reduce waste while delivering a better consumer experience. This takes us to trend number 8, which we're calling circular luxury. And this trend is all about delivering premium experiences without compromising recyclability or sustainability. So think texture is now becoming the new foil.
We're seeing embossing and sculpting, molded fiber luxury boxes. They're beautiful, they're elevated and fully recyclable. With restrictions on foils and metallizations, this is really where luxury is headed.
And so this is this whole realm of like what's happening in printing with aqueous inks and things where it used to be, litho or foil lined, and now we're actually seeing it come to life in something that's fully recyclable. And that's pretty exciting.
Especially with EPR. This brings us to trend number 9, digitally enabled packaging. This is where physical packaging connects to a digital intelligence, Digimark, traceability, AR layers, anti-counterfeit markers, low-cost tracking labels on Apple's Find My network.
I think that one's really cool because we're seeing now in single-digit prices, you can actually get a label where you can actually track it just like you would track your Apple Watch or Apple iPhone. And so that's opening up all kinds of new possibilities. And this is driven by transparency needs, retailer mandates, sortation tech, and consumer expectations. So packaging is becoming smarter. This is a trend that's been going on for a while, but it's now becoming a lot more accountable too. So this leads us to trend number 10, our final trend, and we're calling this one honest packaging. And this is really this trend around truth in labeling, these new truth and labeling laws that have come out, how to cycle requirements, APR design guidance that's tightening, and packaging that really needs to communicate clearly and accurately how to dispose or recycle it.
We're seeing this on pack messaging that's compliant, it's consistent, and it's grounded in reality, not vague claims. So you'll see clear icons, disposal cues, QR link to guidance, updated how to recycle labels, all really aiming to help consumers to do the right thing when it comes to the end of life of their packaging.
There you go. Those are the 2026 sustainable packaging trends. It's a big year, and the expectations are higher than they've been in the past. The regulations are clear, they're accelerating, and the opportunities for innovation have never been stronger.
And so if you want to go deeper into any of these trends, you can download the full 2026 Trends Report using the link in the episode description or by visiting our website. It's packed with deeper dive into the trends, what's driving them, and a bunch of design examples.
Now, make sure to subscribe to the Sustainable Design Lab podcast to stay up to date all year on all of the latest insights and innovations in sustainable packaging. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thanks.